Honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye ono anaye head of communications and so edema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na wakodi nkomo onim se encheye ena Ghana for yeto aba edema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na abatuo na achi no emfie makumu a ne nama yekoyi mekire yetsesa aban dada ye de aban foforo bai no emumfie eye baako a na egusu a yekoyi mebacho eye Kings channel 5 eye GH on subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the page, turn on the notification bell and so share emonia and send your feel free now or comment section one of no for comment no and so far to na bibia intimi and cause kama Felix Kwakye no and awuramu ewo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na ba mu no na ye kasamafo meche ono na communications ni na oda no na Honorable Felix Kwakye kodi nkomo edifa economy no ye bisa no ewo hot issues and so ewo near the answeri TV3 na enkomodi die mu na Honorable Felix Kwakye di tu dwa se hisi no oba economy na ade a fuel price na yete so no ni na efa cedi ene dollar kwanya cedi no enso atimi appreciate no eno na ya ade baako a ama sesia no aye lorry fare any fuel no aba from na fuel no kra aba from no atimi anya effect e wo lorry fare no so na odi nkomo bi enso edifa inflation ho na honorable kire e o kire mu se before mo ba be fa inflation ba be fa aye abanwa no ne ade na inflation e wo soro but sesia ono aye communication head of communication adama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no obetimi aka evidence ni bo se inflation ababeda aye 6.3% otu se free sabre ya ekopem se yenu aye afefofro mu de anase yenwura aye bosumi nsia bosumi nso ntamu de na inflation no assign at ede abafom na odi nkowa de for fuel prices ho and se asam na aka no tro na odi a obi anim because ye top petrol obi ato petrol kruma obi afro aye eka se ye fa den abanda da no loy fa ni etwia fu ayeto ne toto aban we a ye hu se nsakrai kese enso atimi abam.
How do you think you fared as a government?
Well, I think that we've acquitted ourselves quite well. And it is fairly easy to measure this sort of performance. You just need to look at where the country was barely a year ago and where we are today. And I think that any objective analyst, any objective observer would agree that the country is in a much better position than it was when we took over power. There are many things that you could look at. Look at the economy, for instance, and the economy is important because that was the single most important item for the Ghanaian voter when they went to the polls barely a year ago. All the things that you use to measure the performance of an economy are pointing in the right direction. Today, the biggest problem that people had, which was an ever-rising cost of living, has been significantly mitigated. There's evidence of reduction in the cost of living through the reduction in prices. The depreciation of the currency, which was a perennial problem and was one of the things that used to worry our economy the most, has been brought under control, such that for the first time in as many years that I can remember,
right,
the cedi is going to appreciate, is going to record an annual appreciation of close to 30%. And if you consider the fact that barely a year ago the cedi had lost about 27% of its value, you find that we've made significant progress in that regard. And this has led to a lowering of prices across many sectors. Look at the energy sector, for instance. Today, fuel is selling much cheaper than it was when we took over. Indeed, if you compare the situation to exactly a year ago, you find that the price of fuel has come down substantially. It has translated into lower transport fares than before. Inflation is at 6.3%. There's every...
Oh, you are enti Aban papa aba kase heat enti eye Felix Kwakye ono nkomo ori tu dwa erefa eye omo since omo to aba de mo o de eye omo amamuo etoto aba ndada no because o de tudwa se abra omo wa be fa abanwa no na ope ade ba akopa ni emu ede wo Ghana na ya setenam de bi be ka the cost of living no na na maboa den fu ayetum aduanesem inflation bibia wo soro okrom a na omo ba ya no due to say sidi no atimi aba fom ti ama enema eboayefo okrom a na honorable Felix Kwakye Ofosu Kwakye kasa no onse o sase no say 1 year in office na 1 year in office no anasa Mahama the first 1 year in office na yade a obesha se the free economy no because economy no na yade ba ko ha Ghana pa and economy no stabilize ye no yade a nema pi ekoso kama na honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye to di nkomo se yade a omo be fa banwa no inflation aba form say obetimi aka because omo ba be fa na yade a fuel rise ya do 14 cities bumukura no mo ton 15 cities but say uko fuel station 11 cities under NDC government.
I may even come down further.
At the same time, what explanation would you give to a section of the public who would say that, well, the indicators are good, but I don't feel it? But I'm not seeing it at my personal economic level.
It will be difficult for anybody to sustain such an argument. I mean, if a few months ago you were paying transport fares at a certain price, and today it is lower than that, you cannot say that you don't feel it. When you go to the pump, the price at which you bought fuel, when we took over, I think it was around 14 cedis a gallon, a liter, if I'm not mistaken. Today, there are some stations that sell it under 11 cedis a liter.
But the fares haven't gone down.
Yes, but the first went down. They went down by 15%. I think sometime in the middle of this year or so when they did the review. It has gone down. We know that there are some drivers who have tried to engage in rent-seeking behavior, but that is outside of the norm. The normal situation is that fares have gone down by 15%. The transport companies themselves announced it. The fuel pricing is real. You need to go to the pump today. There are companies, oil marketing companies, that are selling a liter of fuel for under 11 cedis when it was around 14 cedis around this same time last year. So it is not deniable. You cannot say that you've not felt it when the evidence is pointing. I buy fuel, you buy fuel. So you know that what I'm saying is not an truth. So whereas an argument can be made that perhaps vendors and sellers should reduce their prices further, that would be a legitimate demand. But to say that it has not been felt will not be exactly accurate. And I think that we need to be fair to these facts.
Another area someone would point to will be the price of food.
Yes.
And you know, things around that. While we see a decrease in the inflation.
Enti urama na ehon komo no. Host no bisa na say obobo say fuel price ene ade inflation aba form no. Sabi timamufo no so hu ni say aso mu hu hwe. No say hu hwe say o da fa banda da no na fa ba wi bra na utua lorry fa na fa toto lorry fa na utua wo ho ene enede na eyepe no see there be and also I can say honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye di tu dwa say o say abandada no fu a na yeto no na do sen abawi mimi no mi eni otofu a utofu am so mitofu a endi se okona de me kan anya nokra ubehu nokra so ubehu a manifest am aye di so mfa so and sidi na anya hoode na aboa ama sisi anema bo ayefo okurumu a enti we enkoma eye honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye kodi ye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ne first year enso e office na enkomodi die mu na honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye ono aye head of communications His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the center ono ene kasamafo the sitting president edi tudwa owura into agriculture na agriculture ne de masa oti a obebo nsam His Excellency John Dramani Mahama osi aduma payin e bona nya aduma ketwa na nu ya na nkokon nketenkete opayin lanche ye o lanche wi na obesi nkokon nketenkete processing factory obe kate so ewo aye bechem aye tanonof ne important na honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye de tudwa se oso urama since His Excellency John Dramani Mahama launching nkukwo nkete no ayade almost 3 million bears meche nkukwo nkete makumako 3 million na omo dispute omo acheche yade ama aye omo into poultry.
So we can get to the point where food prices are better?
Yeah, we should get to a place where food prices are better. Of course, it will take a bit more than just the fall of inflation or the appreciation of the cedi. There must be some investment in agriculture to make food available. Now, once that happens, natural competition will drive down the price of food. So you find that in the budget, allocation has been made for a farmer services center, where up to 4,400 different farm implements will be brought in and distributed to 50 farmer services center, who will then help our farmers in these places with preparing their land, selling their land, and essentially engaging the activity that will ensure that there's an abundance of food. Take the poultry sector, for instance. Currently, there is a strategy document which has an objective of achieving self-sufficiency in poultry production in the next few years. Currently, Ghana is at 12% in terms of self-sufficiency in poultry. The objective is to ensure that by the close of this year, it is taken to 28%. Then in 2026, 2027, it goes above 60%. And then in about 3 or 4 years, it goes to 104%. That is the objective. Now, there have been policies rolled out, like the Nkukwo program. And in the last few weeks or so, about 3 million beds have been distributed across the country.
Already?
Absolutely. And the Minister of Agriculture has been spearheading this. A couple of weeks ago, the President commissioned the meat processing and poultry processing factory in Bechim as a way of providing a place where that company can offtake from poultry farmers. And the intention is to open additional meat processing centers across the country so that we have the whole value chain of poultry catered to. Now, all of this is being done to ensure that there's all year round cultivation of food, so that we do not have this lean and bumper seasons, which then tends to fluctuate.
Enti under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama aduane be busa to e ba sa no mani age because aduane sem de very necessary pa. Enti Honorable Felix Ofosu Kwakye say aduane de yeda ye na say nkokon nkitinkiti ene enema abani de agu akwamu se ombeso manuani busu o Ghana enkonko ba sa bandada no na aduane board okromu a okromu anu masa ombeso di pa me a ska ubeyi na dey no enye easy Kings Channel 5GH on subscribe ya me pacho subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the page no na share feel free na comment section no fa comment no fa to na fa wura page no na content e omni nyina no nya bi hwede de nko a na afi ye de mama